Alright, this will be a tutorial for Metroid Prime Remastered on how to do Space Jam first. Now you probably have already seen Draconif's video on how to do this step by step. If you haven't, I'm gonna link it in the description. But uh, I will explain in a more elaborate manner how to properly perform it, and yeah, maybe offer some tips. So starting off, well, you actually just wanna you wanna go here. You wanna grab this guy. You, if you don't know the specifics about this guy, you can't just like grab it and then go like that. Otherwise, the door will shut on you. So what you have to do is grab him and then step away from the door and try to not look at the door. But the problem is when you try to go to your ship, that will happen. Well, actually, I think I went too far there and it actually broke the lock. But sometimes not going, like, you can go not very far away and it can still remove the lock on. So what you have to do is start walking away until the hold on, until the ceiling is like there. So when it's like in the middle of the wall over here, it's going this way. That's where you wanna. That's where you wanna. That's when you wanna start walking away. Oops. Let me return. So there, walk away from the door, and that's how you get this lock on. Now for the actual dash itself, what you want to do here is something called an extended dash. The way to explain this first is, let me show you how a regular dash looks like. So you know the usual dash where you just do this, this, but if you hold down the jump button for like a quarter of a second, Samus will kind of just do this, like that thing where she slams into the ground. And that's what we want to do here. So you can't just do a regular dash like this. Just won't have enough speed. What you want to do is something like this. Oops, I went the other direction. Something like that. So by doing the dash this specific way, you want to perform another dash immediately after landing. So you do this to gain an extra bit of speed, just like that. And that's actually what makes the trick work. So the way it works is when you dash, like that, you get an extra speed, but that is actually not enough to go to the ledge like over there, because that's the goal here, to be able to land on this ledge. Oops, if I can get it. Nope. Like this. So this is standable. The goal is to be over here. So alright, I'm gonna stop explaining. I'm just gonna show you how to actually do it. So getting here, do the usual steps, and what you want to do is do an extended dash that direction and then dash again. So the way to perform it is you do that, and then you wanna pause so you can do the inputs a little bit more precisely. The trick here is make it so, alright, first pay attention on the jump state window. There you can see now it says on ground, now it says apply jump, 1, jump. You want to dash when the jump state is 3, which is there, falling. And that jump state happens when you're in the air right after walking off a ledge. And that is a 3-frame window, so you only have 3 frames to jump on this window. So here's how to do it. You do an extended dash, and you want to make sure you land on the ship. So here, see that my jump state is 3, it's falling. You can sort of tell with the visual cue on the floor of the ship. You want to try to aim on the, oops. You want to try to aim somewhere like lining up with this black line on the ship. So right over there is where the edge of the floor is. So you want to land there and be having jump state 3, and that's where you land. That's where you dash. So try doing this maneuver. Try practicing like this. Do this like that, and you cannot sort of get a feel for it, unfortunately. So right over here, it's excellent for the line up on that part of the ship. So once you get this down, see that it still says I'm on ground, but if I go like a frame later or a couple, well, I think this is already too late, but ideally you dash again here. I didn't make it there. That was too wide of a dash. See, falling, and that's where you want to jump. So if I can get it. Oops. So yeah, this is somewhat difficult, but with practice, you'll be able to get it consistently. So that's where the jump state 3 occurred. See there, I jumped on the 3 frame window of jump state 3. So now you want to advance like quite a little bit, but not so much. Oops. Like right around here. If you pay attention to like that little spike on the ship, right around there is where you wanna be positioned at before you do anything else. So maybe roughly over the key text next to the X is where it shows up. So what you want to do afterwards here is hold left or right, that's right. Hold right for 1 frame. Well, actually this is not required to do, but it can help in case you didn't get a strong enough dash or you feel like you need like a tiny extra boost to make it up. But this may or may not be required, but I'm still gonna include it. You hold right with nothing else, just right, let go of the lock on for 1 frame. Now, what you want to do is hold slightly right and slightly down. So kind of like down right, but not quite. And that the reason why you want to do just slightly and not all the way is because when you're in the air and you hold the stick just a tiny little bit, you gain more acceleration for some reason. This is called soft input jump, and we're gonna use this to our advantage. So slide to the right, slightly down, hold it, and under the right circumstances, you make it up here. So the key to this dash is dashing on jump state 3, which is this 3 frame window where you are in the air after walking off the ledge, and that's what makes it possible. So once you make it over here, it's the usual, just hold slightly up. Actually, that was odd. Sometimes that can happen and it's really annoying. I don't know why it happens. I think it's because you're too far right, but let's try it again. So settling is on the middle there, going to the right. Make sure to not be in front of the door so you don't lose the lock on. Position yourself. Fail that a couple of times. So align yourself with the black line on the ship. Oh, I actually jumped not on jump state 3 there, so let me show you what happens when that happens. 1 frame. Oh, well, this time it actually worked, but the rule still applies there. Dashing on jump state 3 gives you a huge boost, and this time actually worked because I just had a really good dash, but most of the time, from my experience, that never happens. So let's try that again. I didn't jump. There. So roughly about there. Hold right for 1 frame. Hold slightly down right. And you make it. So, as I was previously stating, once you're here, you want to just hold slightly up on the stick. You don't go all the way because otherwise you're gonna slip down, and that's bad. You want to position yourself over here. There's like an invisible block here, and you can't go further. See, look at my stick. It just doesn't let me go. And you don't want to hold too much all the way because otherwise you'll slip off and cry. Let me get here again, but because I fell down. It repositioned me. Here, okay. So just hold slightly up there. Go slowly. And once you can't go any further, you want to jump, but you don't want to keep holding forward. You want to jump and hold forward until a little bit later. Because what happens when you keep holding forward, this happens. Oh. I guess it actually just let me through, but... Oh wait, it's because this is gone. Yeah. Oops, never mind, hold on. Okay, the block should be there again. Okay, the block is there, so if you hold forward, it still lets you through. That normally doesn't happen, but... Okay, that's what would happen most of the time. It's not letting me stand there anymore. Okay. Well, most of the time, you will slide off, and it won't let you go through forward. So you just want to jump, and then wait a little bit, and then move forward. I swear that doesn't usually happen. You just don't hold forward. Don't hold forward when jumping. Just jump, and then wait a little, and then go forward. And that's basically the gist of it. Don't really have any other way of explaining this. I kind of just made this because there was no tutorial video about it. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. And also watch Draconif's video on this. It's like kind of a different explanation. He doesn't tell you the jump state 3 mechanic, but I thought to make a clarification regarding that. So yeah, good luck.